knowledge being spread. It's like warm butter across the bread. Smooth, I know you like that. Flow with the grain and don't fight that. You want righteous love, you found the right match. With Marty McFly, they on the right track. Yeah, gotta dig the dirt to plant the seed. Spread roots till you sprout like a tree. Doni Jones, she the one you wanna see. Doni Jones Live, this is where you wanna be. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Thanks.
Welcome to Doni Jones Live. I am Doni, the true lady, hanging out with
that guy, Marty McFly, that's having a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
You know what? I know.
I'm claiming it.
I know. That's right. I'm claiming it too.
Yep.
And I know that, we're on the radio, but, if they go to YouTube, they see us on camera. So I just have one question. Which camera I'm supposed to look at?
That one. The one that's looking, see, we got screens that's looking at you too.
Okay, I feel like that.
The one that is looking at you.
But there's two of them that look at me.
Well, the one that's just looking at you and not me.
Okay, I got it now. I know what I'm supposed to do now.
We're gonna get up to like the CNN where they have the lights on top of each one. You know where to look at. But
can you put me a light up there so I'll know?
Yeah, I put your little red light up there. We just gotta have somebody blink.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this week.
It is what's going on with you this week?
I feel good. Okay, first of all, once again, thank you for listening to Doni Jones Live. But I do know that if they've listened to the show for the last few weeks, they've heard that there's been some things that I'm frustrated about, stuff dealing with and stuff. And I feel like I'm getting on the other side of that. Still frustrated, but you know what I realized my frustration comes from?
What's that?
It's the process. And it's like you start getting uncomfortable because you're not comfortable where you're at anymore, and you're trying to grow, and you're trying to put your vision out there, and you're trying to, step up to the plate and go to the next level. And a lot of times you're having a challenge conveying to those around you that, hey, this is what we're doing. And so when things don't go exactly like you want it, you feel this frustration. But I gotta be mindful of the fact that, part of it is me growing, part of it's them growing, part of it is us growing as a team, and that me being uncomfortable is because in my mind, I'm not where I wanna be yet, but I'm also have to keep in mind that I'm not where I used to be. So I'm feeling good because I'm focusing on gratitude right now.
Let's just for the people that are just tuning in, this is Doni Jones. She owns a tree company.
Yeah, I own a tree care company.
So she has a lot of different employees, and a lot of times she's taking her company to a new place.
Yes,
and that's what you're growing. You're growing, and sometimes in that growth, it's funny. I deal with this with church, business, and just people.
Yeah,
where sometimes you have a new vision.
Yeah.
Everybody else doesn't see the vision.
Yeah.
But because you're a leader because of that.
Yeah.
And you have to take that initiative, that fight, that push.
Yeah.
And then everybody else starts believing in it.
Right, absolutely.
You've done some things like that where you're like, Marty, we need to go ahead and do this, do this. And I might be like, I don't see the vision yet, but I'm going to do it. But then I realized it later on. And I believe that a lot of other entrepreneurs, like if you look at Tyler Perry, I think when he first started out, everybody did not see that vision.
No, not at all. Yeah.
And his professionalism of just saying, okay, I got to do this. I want to do it. I know, I seen an interview of him maybe a year ago where he was saying there was a lot of tough nights that nobody would understand.
Yeah, and there's nights when nobody showed up.
Yes.
And you think about that. You look at the Tyler Perry of today with, several hundred acres, studios, multiple studios, beautiful homes and stuff like that. That acorn at one time, that oak tree at one time was an acorn. I love trees. And when I say acorn, I mean there was a time when he's sitting in a theater and nobody is there. But that's that same guy who fills theaters now and has shows on multiple streaming services. But to see that, it was a process. And it's the same thing that a lot of people go through in their small businesses, in their community. Yeah. And I think even as a country, we're transitioning and going through stuff.
But and people forget that is a part, like you said earlier, that's a part of the process.
Part of the process.
Being there and being in the theater where nobody is at.
Yeah.
That makes you sit back and say, okay, what could I have done differently?
Yeah.
Was it my marketing? Was it my promotion? Was it the places? And then you learn, okay, well, next time I'm gonna do a different one. You know, like with me, I do concerts like Morris Brown's. I do.
Actually, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, a lot of times when we start the show, we just jump right in.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And we forget that not everybody has been on the journey with us. So, generally speaking, the first segment of the show, we talk about current events, but sometimes we'll just get into what's going on with our life. But I want to give it a little bit of a title so people can kind of hang with us and know where we're at. So if I were to give this segment a title, I would say we're talking about the process, meaning progress in the process. And we're talking about, and hopefully this can connect with you, if you're in a phase of your life where there's some frustration, there's some angst, and you're having to take yourself someplace, you know, we're hoping you would get something from this. So Marty's getting ready to explain what he's been dealing with, but it's a process.
It's a process, and you learn during the process.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's Einstein who made the light bulb, or Edison. You know, my history ain't always the great. But the thing is, it was a process to create that.
Yeah.
The first time was not a success.
Right.
But you learn, okay, what didn't work? How does this work? What's the best way of doing it? Let's change the process.
Yeah.
You know, what we've been doing. I do a concert series at Morris Brown.
That's what you're going to say.
And there's been a lot of years, nobody showed up.
Right.
You know, or it's been an empty auditorium, and, you know, I've done the promotion and I've done everything, and it's like, okay, that didn't work. What do I need to do next time?
Yeah.
You know, and it's a process, and you grow and you learn.
Yeah,
You know, even
absolutely.
with our show here, you know, we started in a
We really did.
And you had actually the first show that I can remember that actually produced for you. Your husband was the videographer.
That's right.
You know, he came in with
on an iPad.
On his
which I think he dropped. It was either iPad. It was an iPad.
Yeah.
It was iPad.
It didn't save or something like that. But you know, it's the process, because each time you go to another situation and you say, okay, this is a new challenge. You know, and now you see everything that we have here to do a show, but it became problems in the process that gave us new solutions.
That's right.
So it's like, you know, we had a taping out in the field one time.
Yeah, we sure
and
did.
it's like, oh, wait a minute, what do we do with power? We have microphones and everything.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a part of the process to learn and say, hey, you need to have battery packs, you know, or a way to do this without needing the plug in. But that was a process to learn where we were at. So anyway, I say all of that to say, in our jobs, in your job, in your church, in any kind of industry, enjoy the process.
And I think that's what was going on with me over the last couple of weeks. You know, obviously when we come on camera or if we come on the show, we're going to try to put our best foot forward. But I think people do have an intuition. People do have feelings. And even if somebody is putting on a smiley face, you can feel when there's some undertones of stuff. And of course, we're never going to come on and be like, woo, guess what? But I can honestly say that something has shifted inside of me because I really have embraced the fact that this is part of the process. Being uncomfortable, being frustrated. And here's the cool thing. When you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you can still be uncomfortable, but you don't have to be frustrated.
Right.
It actually alleviates the frustration because you're sitting there going, oh, this is par for the course. Almost like when last night I went to the gym and I'm still in this regimen of working on this weight loss thing.
Right.
So I get off work, I want to go to the gym, I get to the gym, and it hit me. Wow, you're at the gym and you didn't have to make yourself go. Like I just went because that's what, in my mind, that's what I do. I go to the gym. So when I finish my work, now Grant, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say the workout was easy. I'm just not. I'm just not gonna do that.
That's a part of a process.
It's part of the process. But when I finished, because my daughter went with me, she likes to do yoga. I'm still struggling with it, but I wanted to go there. When we finished, I was like, wow, I feel good. I felt really, really good. And I feel like somebody needs to hear that right now. Also, if you're listening to you and you kind of, what we're saying is clicking, call 1-888-349-DONI. That's 1-888-349-DONI. And the reason is because we do feed off of your feedback, but
And this is true conversation.
It really, it's true conversations. We're not just making this up.
It's true conversations. It's amazing going to work out mentally. Yeah. It starts with your mind. Yeah. Just go. You know, because I'm like you. Now it's like I made it to my commitment to myself that I have to go every day. Every other day, and I try to make sure that I go. And now it's like I enjoy going, and I feel obligated. I feel like I've disappointed myself if I don't go.
Right.
But it's a part of kind of like we were saying, the process, because I have a visual image of who I want to be or what I want to look like. Yeah. Now I know it's daily processes of working out to get there. Yeah. That's the hard part. Yeah. But that's the part where you got to be committed. To go. You put in that 1 hour out of the day, and it's funny because I think about this, that whatever you want to do right now in life, why don't you just put in 30 to 45 minutes in that every day? And just like working out, I see small growth over the time. I'm not going to be, today I'm Marty, and then tomorrow I'm going to be Hulk Hogan. No. And I probably will never be like that. But
you don't want to be Hulk Hogan.
No.
I don't know. I heard Hulk Hogan.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Not
a lot of good stuff
in the aspect of, let me just say, a professional football player, or the image of my body that I would like. Yeah. Knowing that that's not going to be overnight. Yeah. But it takes a process, the daily routines. Like when you wrote From Failure to Fabulous. Yeah. You had an end result in your mind. You had a beginning, but it took time. Yeah. The daily process of writing a chapter,
That's right. And if you want to get a copy of my book, go to Amazon and look up Doni Jones, Doni Jones. From Failure to Fabulous. Mm-hmm. And also, I hear that Marty's going to be writing a book too. So
I am working on my book right now, and it's we'll talk about that on the other side.
Yeah, we are going to talk. We're going to take a quick break.
Yep.
We'll be right back. You're listening to Doni Jones Live. I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I am that guy, Marty McFly, and we will see you in a few seconds.
A few seconds.
Yep.
All righty.
It's Doni Jones Live. Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live. Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live. Doni Jones Live.
Now when the weather starts to change, the rents start to fall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If it's looking kinda weak and it's looking kinda bleak, for a tree specialist call.
Don's Tree Service.
If the trees in your yard are just too tall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wanda Smith, and I'm here with some great information. I don't know if you know, but it's hurricane season, and it's a great time for you to think about having trees removed before one fall on your home. That's something you don't want to happen. Listen, I called Don's Tree Service on a Monday. They were here in just a few days. The price was right, the staff was right, and I'm happy with everything they've done. So hey, if I were you, I would sit down with my family and talk about having trees removed before the hurricane comes and hit your home.
If you want more information about your trees, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE.
Question. Have you ever thought about where you're at in the Bible? You know, the Bible is broken down in different parts. You got the Old Testament, the prophets, you got the Gospels, and then you have the letters from Paul. Where are you at in the Bible? You know, are you in the garden where you're still trying to figure life out? Or do you feel like you're in that 400 years of silence, not hearing from God at all? Where are you at in the Bible? I'd love to talk about it with you at St. Mark Lutheran Church. Yep, this Sunday at 11 a.m. We are in person, and I would love to worship with you. And we start at 11 a.m. We're located at 4137 Washington Road in East Point, Georgia. Now, if you're not in the Atlanta area, you can always log on to stmarklutheranchurch.org and be a part of any of our online services. That's stmarklutheranchurch.org.
Hey, this is Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. And as a small business owner, I get asked all the time, how did you do it? Now, for those of you that don't know, I basically started a tree service with $43 and a dream right here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Now, during my journey, I've definitely been blessed to see the mountaintop, but I've also been in some rough valleys. And in my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I share my experience. My book really is a real woman's journey to building a happy, healthy, and successful life. But I gotta be honest with you, I read self-help books and I listened to audio programs about success, and I was still having difficulty achieving success in my life until I really got a hold of certain principles that made a difference. In my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I get very real and raw about what I did to build my company, my family, and my life. So please go check out my book, From Failure to Fabulous, on Amazon, or you can go to my website, www.DoniJonesLive.com.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Welcome back to Doni Jones Live. I am Doni the Tree Lady.
And I am that guy, Marty McFly. You know, we're talking about like the process and the visions and things of that nature. And you know, it's hard for me, it's a part of the process, to have a vision, but then trying to get everybody else
on
to
the same
buy
page.
into the vision. And most people won't. Because depending on the generation gap, or I would almost say the work ethic. You know, because some people would say, I love, they want to do videos. They want to do like different shows and stuff like that here at the church. And I'm like, that's a great idea. But nobody has the work ethic to even write down, to start, to do anything. It's like, you do it. And I don't know if that, you know, makes sense to anybody else.
It makes a whole lot of sense. But what it made me think about is a conversation that I had in Target yesterday.
Okay.
Before I went to the gym, by the way.
Yeah.
And I was in line, and there was a lady that was buying all these stacks of like little containers, like unusual, about like 40 of them, like containers.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, what you got going on? Just curious, because I'm being nosy. She goes, I have an event tomorrow for Atlanta Realtors. I was like, oh, wow, that sounds cool. She goes, yeah, it'd be nice if I had some help. I was like, oh, really? She goes, yeah, I have an assistant that was supposed to be helping me with this, but it's hard to find people to show up for work and do what they say they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And then we have people that if they work on the phones, then we're asking them to come help with this convention, and it's not really their thing. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm sorry. She goes, but everybody I talk to is dealing with that right now. And so it made me realize that I am blessed that I've got good people on staff, but also we've been wanting to bring somebody on to kind of help with some of the back end stuff. And we actually, let me rephrase that, we brought somebody on to help with the back end stuff, but they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, right?
Okay.
So then I start talking to people that could come in and do this type of work, which is basically phone work and following up and just tying up the loose ends, right? Where that need to be tied up. It's like people don't want to work.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be one of those people, because I feel like everybody is saying that right now. But when you interview person after person, and I'm not just talking about young, I'm talking about even old. They're like, old and seasoned. And I'm like, I apologize.
Get it on out.
You're so funny. I just feel like something happened with work ethic. You said work ethic. That's what made me think of that.
Yeah.
We were trained to have a good work ethic. You have a good work ethic. What would you say happened to that? What do you think happened?
And I can't just blame it on COVID, but a lot of people have gotten just so lazy, and I guess it's like it's almost like they feel entitled. Like, I don't need to come to work early.
Right.
Let me just come to work on time, and don't tell me if I'm 2 or 3 minutes late.
Exactly, and then don't say nothing if I want to leave early. Yeah.
And you wait now while I'm here. You really want me to work? Now hold on. Do you really now? Don't talk to me that kind of way, because I know I ain't did nothing for the last 2 days.
Right.
That makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But do you really want me to work?
Right.
I know you're paying me, and it's funny because it sounds like I'm making this up, but this is a lot of the people that I'm dealing with right now. Yeah. That it's like, especially in the church, because it's like it's hard to fire people when they volunteering.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, but it's kind of like I don't even want you in this department because your work ethic is so bad.
I'm so sorry, you guys. For those of you that are listening in,
drink some water, drink some tea or something.
There you go.
But you know, and it's sad because I think it's across the board too. Because I go to fast food restaurants, and it's always one of those things where the line is too long, or the people in there, you can tell you just trying to get a check. My order is never really right.
I have a question. what if we got to a point in society where, as business owners and as companies or individuals, because it doesn't matter if individual company, big company, small company, there are good people out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
We just have to find them, right?
Right.
I am of the mindset that if we have to slow down a little bit until we find the right person, stop hiring these people.
Yeah.
Just stop hiring. Once again, I have to reiterate, I am blessed to have some really great people, but it's like looking for this extra link.
But
if somebody just wants to work, it's tough.
Wait. Let me go back for a second, because you said we need to stop hiring them.
Yeah.
Who goes into the interview and says, "I'm really lazy"? I'm not going to come in on time. They put on that. It's like dating. They're going to put on that fake representative of them.
But if we can cut the cord immediately, because what happens, and I love being in Georgia because you can fire at Will State, but if we stop accepting, okay, perfect example. You go into a restaurant, like what you were saying, they act like they don't want to talk, they don't want to say hi or whatever. Stop going to that restaurant. Well, that's going to hurt the owner, and I understand that, right? But at some point, the owner's going to go, I can't have people working for me that act like that, or they have to retrain their people and raise their expectations for their people.
That would be.
I feel like we're going to have to get that way.
I want to almost get personal, because I agree with that. But what happens is that bad employee has a relationship with the boss. I had a situation where I had some my windshield on my car needed to be replaced. So I called this nice little company that always advertised. They sent the guy out. He replaced the windshield, but he messed up my windshield wiper.
Goodness,
just like didn't tighten it back in, so it kept slipping or whatever. So I called them back, and the guy came, and the employee who did it had more of an attitude with me.
Oh, wow.
Of saying, well, I think this was messed up a long time ago. This is not on me. And I'm like, well, understand that I never had problems with my windshield wipers.
Before you messed with it.
Before you did it, and he didn't fix it right, so they had to come back out again. So now I'm kind of frustrated.
Right.
And now the employee is he's really belligerent.
Right.
He's just like, no, man, you just trying to get over this. To the point, I actually called the company.
Wow.
And said, hey, your employee is acting like this is my fault. This. They didn't want to give me a call back. It was more just like,
but that's what I mean. Do you get to a point where you just don't do business with companies
that
are like that?
I haven't dealt with them anymore.
Right.
But I can say for examples that I've seen in other companies where they've said, okay, here's your job for today. Call this person, do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
They don't do it. The client is mad. They call, for example, they call you, and you say, well, this person has been with me for 12, 20 years. Maybe I don't need to cut them. Maybe I just have a conversation with them.
Well, it's funny because I'm, as a business owner, I'm super anal about that kind of stuff. Like, we're huge on customer service. So if you're in Atlanta and you want good customer service from a tree service, you call us and let us know.
Right.
But we actually hold each other accountable. But I think that goes back to what you were talking about because we talked about process at first.
Right.
Now we're talking about vision. Business owners and companies have to have a vision for what they want their companies to look like.
That is true.
So because I don't want my company to look like, I have invested in really, really good people, and they have invested in themselves. Like, I can't take credit for it because, I can take some credit for it, but I feel like these people are very self-motivated, but that's because I hire people that are self-motivated.
Yeah.
So I think it does come back to the owner, because if somebody isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, you got to nip it in the butt. Yep. Just like the person that we're now looking for an internal person, because we did let somebody go a couple weeks ago. Now, they were working remotely. They weren't really a part of our inner circle, but they were working remotely, and they still weren't doing their job. And so, because I have a vision of how I want our company to run, how I want people to interact with me and with our staff, I was like, oh, this person's not going to work out. And the company that actually helped me find this person was like, well, why don't we give her a second chance? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And it's because she was so far out, outside the standards of what I want as a company, in my opinion, it was not worth the work of trying to get her caught up to speed. Because I feel like you have to have good people. So shout out to my leadership team, which is Fatima, Dolly, Ayud, Abdi, Eric, Bilson, Leonel. I'm leaving somebody out.
See, that's why you don't.
Exactly. I know. I'm leaving somebody out. I left somebody out.
Lil Lily.
Eric, Bilson, Leonel. But then Kevin. I mean, I've just got great people, so I'm proud of that. But at the same token, I just feel like when you got a vision for how you want your life to be, how you want your company to be, you have to set those standards. And when people don't meet those standards, you got to say bye no matter what.
Well, the thing is, right, you set your vision, you be, in a sense, clear about your vision.
Yeah.
And be, don't waver from it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if you have a ideal of excellence, customer service.
Yeah.
If someone comes into your company and you realize, okay, you ain't got it, and I can't teach you, I got to let you go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think you said it right. As a leader, you have to start that too.
Yeah.
You know.
So how do we start doing that as a society? Let's bring, because we like to talk real life.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. If we all in our society is talking, and we'll talk about this in the next segment. In fact, we will. If we're all saying that there's a problem out there with bad customer service, people not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the job marketplace, what do we need to do as a society to raise our standards as a society?
Hard. That's
like, how do we do that? That's what I'm. That's what I'm asking Pastor Marty.
No, because I ain't got answers for that. Because I don't shoot enough people out with that situation. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at someone that doesn't come to work on time, doesn't put in their 100% effort, and they're slacking, and then it's like, well, they got 4 kids and they're just struggling and they're trying to keep everything together. Do I say, well, that's your problem, I'll let you go?
Yeah.
Or it's like, let's try to help them be a better person, but they're not trying to be a better person.
Well, let's talk compassion in our constructive compassion in our next segment.
Yes.
So we got it rolling. We got labels. We got labels.
Yes,
but anyway, but we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Doni Jones Live.
And I am that guy, Marty McFly, and we will be right back.
Yeah.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
When it falls, there's only one tree company to call. That's Don's Tree Service. Call them at 770-413-TREE. That's 770-413-8733.
I looked out the window after the storm and found out that there was a tree that had fallen, so I needed somebody quickly. Made one phone call. The appointment was made. They got the tree down. They do full service cleanup so that it looked like nothing had been done at all. Don's Tree Service did an awesome job for me, and I would recommend them highly.
Hey guys, I'm Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. We are an Atlanta-based tree service serving all of Metro Atlanta. And you know what? We proudly serve the underserved. And not only that, when we cut down your trees, we don't charge extra for cleaning up. So give us a call at 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Welcome back to Doni Jones Live, where we have already talked about the process,
The
vision, and now we're going to talk about some compassion.
The compassion.
Yeah. So.
And that's a hard thing to deal with business.
Yeah.
Compassion, because the thing that I appreciate about a corporate America is they leave compassion out of it. They say
that's not a good thing, though.
Well, for business it is.
No.
Because here's the thing.
No.
Let me explain.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You wouldn't have as many of the issues that you may have in corporate because they don't care if you're not meeting your quota, if you're not coming in on time, you're not doing this, we cut you.
That's not necessarily true.
Okay, well,
think about how many times you go into a business now. Perfect example. Okay, I was getting some work done at my house, and it was being done by a big company, one of the big concrete companies in Atlanta. And so I didn't know who was doing what. It was just a bunch of guys.
Right.
And so I go there, and there's a guy standing outside of a concrete truck. And there's another guy. Well, I don't know who to talk to, so I just said, hey, I have a question about these plants right here and these bricks right here. And no, actually it was the concrete. And so he goes, okay. I said, excuse me? I said, I just have a question. And he was like, oh, I don't know nothing. I just started.
Right.
And I was like, well, is there somebody I can talk to? And he was like, well, I mean, I guess you could talk to him over there. And he points up the hill. And I'm like, can you? And then I start to say, can you go get him? And the energy just didn't feel right. I was like, you know what?
Right. So
don't even worry about it. But here's what's going to happen.
Okay.
I don't want to do business anymore with that company because of that guy that literally he said just got started.
Right.
But I second guessed myself and I was like, it's okay. Let me go talk to the other guy. And the other guy did answer my question. But if I hadn't had a second thought, I would have said, I don't want to ever deal with those people anymore because of that one person.
Yeah. But that's different than what I was just talking about with corporate. With that one person, he said, I just got hired. He might not stay there long if it's a good company.
Okay.
If they
Right. Okay.
that.
I see what you're saying.
But with corporate, they look at how many people do we have cutting trees? Okay. We got 10 of them. Can we get the job done with 7?
Okay.
We probably can. I'm not seeing names.
Right.
You know, and well, Eric has 5 kids, so we can't let him go. Tony got 2 kids. It's like, no, who's been here the longest?
Right.
Who hasn't been here? Who's been performing? Cut.
Right.
You know, this other person, if their performance isn't great, they're not doing the sales anymore. They're not going out there to get the sales. The numbers are going down. Cut. Let's get somebody new.
Right.
That's corporate. You know what we
I see
do,
what you're saying.
as in our own family businesses and the things that we care about. Well, I grew up with Keisha. That's my cousin.
Woo, we do that. I don't do that.
Yeah, I don't.
And I know you don't.
Right,
yeah, I don't do that.
Family or cousin.
I got burned so bad, and you know we've talked about, and we're not even going to bring a name up.
Right.
But I got burned so bad by somebody that I trusted, cared about, whatever. But the performance wasn't there. But I kept making excuses for them.
Right.
So now we've got people that are really good at their job, that show up and everything. So that's not really an issue. But if I did have an issue with one of them, because they've earned the relationship, I would be compassionate.
Right.
So I think in certain ways we should be more compassionate. But when does compassion become enabling? And the reason why I'm asking that is because when I was in retail, we had managers that literally didn't get fired because they was a single mom. And the person, their district manager, felt bad for them. And I'm like, wait a minute.
But
this person's, their store is not doing good.
And what's sad is that district manager, he ends up getting fired.
Yeah, that's, oh my goodness.
He ends up getting
That's
replaced
exactly
because,
right.
wait a minute, your whole market is not performing because you care about Sally, who can't even do email no more. But you're like, well, she's a nice, sweet lady.
She's a nice lady,
Cut it. You gotta let her go. You know,
that's right.
And it's sad that I wish I could do that same thing at church. You know, that it's like,
well,
you
you're
know,
supposed
sister,
to be compassionate at church, though.
Right, you're supposed to be.
Right.
But then but church is still kind of a business. You
It
got
is.
things
You're
that
right,
you have
you're
to
right, you're
run.
right.
So it's like this, if my programs aren't ready on Sunday morning.
You were going to say something about something, you were going to use it as an example?
I don't know, probably I don't forget now. But at the same
flyer
time,
or something like that.
But if Sunday morning my flyers or my programs aren't ready, and Miss Crystal is been doing this for Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, I got to make a change for the overall good of the church.
That's true.
That's
true.
Now, and it's sad, it was like, well, she's been doing it for 35 years.
Well, that's what we were talking about as a society. That's because I want to bring things full circle. So, at what point in society are we enabling bad behavior by being compassionate and just keep giving these people jobs?
Well, you know,
and at what point do we cut the cord and say, oh, well, it might hurt me for a little while, but I'm going to wait until I find somebody that can do the job?
Well, for me, sometimes it's a fine line that if I help, like a lady, that's what I was about to talk about. A lady that I've been working with, who's asked for money, here and there, and I'll donate every once in a while. But then I realized I have to stop doing this because I'm enabling you because you just keep coming back to me for a check, for something else. And unless I stop this, you won't actually go out there and do it for yourself and get it, And sometimes it takes that hard, true conversations. I'm saying this lady
You're not going to like me.
This lady is asking me about, if I can give her some money. And I'm like, you in your car and you're an Uber driver. Why don't you cut your thing on and make your own?
Go make your own. Let me tell you something. And we're not going to get off into politics, but we are in a little bit, in a way, kind of. You're not going to get into it. The problem I have with politics today is certain people come into our communities and tell people we're going to give you this and we're going to give you that and we're going to give you this and we're going to give you that. Not understanding that when you keep doing that, you actually take the gumption, you take the desire to get up and do something from some people, not everybody. Some people actually do need a little something to kind of help them get going. But I personally know generations of people that have been living on subsidized housing. Second and third, great-grandma, grandma, mom, and now the kid that's got a kid living on government assistance. There comes a point when you go, no more. You get it for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever, and then you need to go handle your business and take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I think that at some point, the systems that were put in place to be compassionate and to be there to support people have become crutches in some ways. Not all the time, because I do believe some people do need help, but I also think that at some point we got to pull the rug out from people and go, just do it. And the reason why I say that is because I've watched people come over to this country with nothing and never have not 1 minute of government assistance. And they live 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in a 1-bedroom apartment. And then they save up a little money, and then another one gets an apartment. Then they save some more money, then another one gets an apartment. Then one of them gets themselves together and goes and buys a house. And then another one gets themselves together and they, go do their own thing or whatever. They do stuff because they don't have a choice but to do stuff. And I just think that at some point we got to learn from that. And it's not a color thing, because I know people from Nigeria that have done this before. I know people from Jamaica I know so many people from Jamaica that come over here with a certain work ethic and start with nothing.
Donnie.
And build it.
Donnie, it's not a black and white thing.
It's not.
Not even, it's an individual person thing, because we'll see that guy from Jamaica that came over here and started his business and you got 500,000 other Jamaicans that ain't doing nothing.
That is
out
true.
There. You see these 1 or 2 that come over to this country and they do so much great. That was in them, in their country anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah.
We have a thing of, even if you took that away, because I agree with you, some people just live on a crutch. But those are the people that's not going to change anyway.
Right.
And that's the sad
You don't
thing
think
about
so?
it. No. Because I preach to a congregation.
I refuse to believe that.
I preach to a congregation every Sunday.
Yeah.
And the ones that need the most help are the ones that don't listen. The ones that want to walk out of the sanctuary, or the ones that's like, I'm just here to get some free food afterwards. The ones that really need the help are the ones that ain't trying to listen.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the room is like, okay, I get it. I'm motivated. I can take this and chew on it and change my life with it and go better. The ones that really need it, they ain't trying to change. So it's like this. If we went to the communities and educated people of like, you can start your own business, you can do this, you can do that.
But it's not always about your own business.
Not even your own business, just doing a better
job.
Life, and not just trying to wait for the man in a sense or government to pay for it. You still gonna have some people that you can talk to them.
But I do think you can teach work ethic sometimes. No. Not in everybody.
No.
But I do think that if you give people an opportunity to
learn, because you're cut from a different cloth. And certain things you
So you think that there's just going to be a whole generation of people that just ain't going to get it, and then we just got to start over?
It's been like that. I'm saying, and we look
at those.
I
have said that before.
Right. And we look at those. I think you said it a couple of weeks ago. Where you saw this family or whatever getting off a boat.
Yeah.
And it's like they talk like this, they dress like this, they look like this. But this is their culture and this is them. You can't go in there and say, let's sit down and let's talk. I want to educate you on being more like me. Or being more like a different society.
Well, I don't want anybody to be like more like me, but I mean, there's a certain etiquette you use.
But at the same time, that's where that fine line is. Is this is my etiquette that I want to teach you. That you should be more like this, and they're like, My mama been on, these stamps for her whole life, and my grandmama and them. We've been taking care of our expectations.
But there are people that break out of that, Marty. That's not,
I'm not saying that everybody. People don't break out of it. It's certain people that unless you are willing as an individual to break out of it.
Let's take a quick break because I want to talk about
it's the individual
Anyway,
thing.
You're listening to Doni Jones Live. I'm Doni the Tree Lady.
And I am Marty McFly trying to educate a few people.
We're going to educate on the other side of this.
Yep. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Now when the weather starts to change, the rents start to fall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If it's looking kinda weak and it's looking kinda bleak, who a tree specialist call?
Don's Tree Service.
If the trees in your yard are just too tall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wanda Smith, and I'm here with some great information. I don't know if you know, but it's hurricane season, and it's a great time for you to think about having trees removed before one falls on your home. That's something you don't want to happen. Listen, I called Don's Tree Service on a Monday. They were here in just a few days. The price was right, the staff was right, and I'm happy with everything they've done. So hey, if I were you, I would sit down with my family and talk about having trees removed before the hurricane comes and hit your home.
If you want more information about your trees, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE. Hey, this is Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. And as a small business owner, I get asked all the time, how did you do it? Now, for those of you that don't know, I basically started a tree service with $43 and a dream right here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Now, during my journey, I've definitely been blessed to see the mountaintop, but I've also been in some rough valleys. And in my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I share my experience. My book really is a real woman's journey to building a happy, healthy, and successful life. But I gotta be honest with you, I read self-help books and I listened to audio programs about success, and I was still having difficulty achieving success in my life until I really got a hold of certain principles that made a difference. In my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I get very real and raw about what I did to build my company, my family, and my life. So please go check out my book, From Failure to Fabulous, on Amazon, or you can go to my website, www.donijoneslive.com.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Hey, welcome back to Doni Jones Live. I am that tree lady, Doni Jones.
And I'm that certified guy, Marty McFly.
We just got all that mixed up.
We just gonna mix it all
That's
up.
okay. We're going to mix it all up.
Yep.
Okay, we were talking about compassion and being understanding with people.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were saying that there are just going to be some people that no matter what, you can't help them.
You're not going to help them.
I believe that.
Right.
But if you can teach people certain principles, you may not get everybody to change. But I think if you can start trying to teach some of the principles. But then again, I don't know, now that I think about it, heck, people got Google. If they really wanted to know how to change some things, they could change them.
People like reading about change, but people don't like changing.
Yeah.
You know, like you can tell people, why don't you be at work on time? Why? Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
You can't train them to really understand that if you want to advance in life, do better on the job that you have right now.
Right. Woo, you better preach.
They can't get that. You know. Right. Read a book. You know, try to. Well, I don't like reading. Okay. How about listening to an audiobook? No, that ain't me.
Yeah.
Some people refuse bettering themselves.
Yeah, you're absolutely
right. Now, regardless of what you present to them,
right?
You know, even like the Bible says, you're gonna always have homeless and stupid with you. Well, they ain't say stupid.
I don't think it said that.
But it just said you're gonna always have the poor and homeless with you because you can teach them.
Yeah.
Tell them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people I've tried to teach how to fish in a sense of production and being an
I've seen you
entrepreneur.
do that. I've seen you
And then
do
they
it.
still will not grasp it. And it's like, oh, well, whatever.
Well, my thing is this. Even though they don't, and I'm doing this for a reason, even though they don't pick up what you're saying, that doesn't mean you stop trying.
Yeah,
you may stop trying with that person.
Oh, yeah. Well,
like
that
you get to a
person.
point where you're like, oh, okay, I can see that this is not going anywhere, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But the reason why I grabbed my phone a few seconds ago, and I know you was giving me the dirty look, was because there was a book that I've read, but I couldn't remember who the author was.
Okay.
And I know every show we said that we're trying to bring some type of value to give people something to go home with. And so there's a book called The Compound Effect.
Okay.
And we always think about the compound effect either in money or numbers or habits, meaning things that can be done repeatedly to create a good effect or a good outcome.
Right.
What we also don't think about is the compound effect acts in reverse too. Meaning, if you've had years and years and years of doing things the wrong way and having a bad work ethic, you've compounded how negative and toxic and unmotivated you are because you've stayed negative and unmotivated. That's the compound effect in reverse. Or actually, it's not even reverse. It's just you've done that. You kind of was lazy, kind of unmotivated, and then you just kept doing that over and over and over again. Well, imagine if you started reading and kept reading. Imagine if you got motivated and stayed motivated. I can't imagine if you started changing your habits for the better and kept changing your habits for the better. What would your life look like a year from now, 5 years from now?
Doni, is so much of that of your own viewpoint of how you perceive things, how you look at things, how you control your mind.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. If people could grasp that, it would change their life. But a lot of them will close their ears.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't understand that a lot of times everything in your life is not negative.
Yeah.
But people will believe that. They will say that. You know, oh, this happened to me is negative. Oh, God is not blessing me because, you know, my car broke down. And a lot of times these are blessings or things that can push you forward. Yeah. You know, that reading, I'm serious, that will open up your mind so much, especially if it's something good.
Oh my
goodness. But it's any
But you know what
muscle.
people say now? Here's the crazy thing. You got Audible, you got Kindle, you got YouTube, you got all of that, right? You still got people saying, I don't like to read. Fine. Then listen to audiobook. Oh, I don't have to. I literally got a friend of mine right now. I've said listen to certain audiobooks because she don't like to read.
Right.
I send her the audiobook.
Still don't.
Still ain't done nothing.
Still don't.
So, but then you're gonna call me and tell me that you're not happy with where your life is. You're in a jacked up relationship. You don't like your job. And I go, okay, well, read this book. Well, listen to this content. Oh, well, I don't feel like doing that. Okay.
Right. You know, in that little segue, the book that I am writing is really understanding that, the power of, in a sense, your vibrations. If all you're doing is thinking of negativeness, seeing the negativeness, that is what your consciousness is bringing into you.
That's right.
You know, that's what's coming to you. You're drawing that. Just like I said, most of the time when I'm counseling someone, they don't have one problem. They got a series.
They've got they've compounded it.
They compounded it, you know, because my car's broke down, my kids are acting crazy, my job is acting crazy, this. And it's like, oh, because of your mindset. That's right. You're pulling a lot of this in. Yeah. You know, it's a quick little interesting story. And you maybe can get this. I'm going to say it real quick. Okay. This will be my little thing for today.
Please.
So it was a...
Because that is a segment.
Right. A couple.
Yeah.
This lady who was kind of nosy, always nosy. Yeah. But she was always looking out her window at her next door neighbor hanging clothes. And she would always say, baby, why does that lady, why don't she ever use bleach? Her clothes are always dirty and dingy. You know, because she's seeing her neighbor hang them on a clothesline. And the next day she do it again. She's like, baby, why does that lady always wash with she needs some Clorox or something to clean her clothes. Yeah. The next time, she called her husband and said, see, she finally started using bleach. Look at her clothes. They're all nice and clean now. Finally. And her husband said, no, I just cleaned the window that you were looking at her. You know?
So good.
I just clean.
So good.
How you view your lens.
Yeah, yeah.
Clean your lens, because everything outside ain't dirty.
Yeah.
You know, some things are actually clean, but the way that
Yeah.
you're processing it and seeing it.
You're looking through the eyes of negativity,
Right.
toxicity, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
control that.
Yeah.
And see, that's one of those things where it's like, you can't almost teach it. You want to teach that, but
Yeah.
a lot of people will not get it.
But it goes back to what we were talking about when we first started. Because I was like, why do I feel so much better? Why do I feel different? Because I'm looking through a different lens now.
Yes.
I was going
Yeah.
through the process. I'm trying to put my vision out there, but I'm also trying to be, helpful and compassionate to people and not go overboard or whatever. But it's causing this frustration.
Yeah.
But when I change the lens or change the window
Yep.
that I'm looking, see how we did that?
I like
See,
it. Go
change
ahead.
the window that we're looking out of. Then it became, oh no, I'm not frustrated. I'm not looking out the frustration window.
Right.
I'm looking at this is part of the process window. I'm growing window. I'm innovating window. I'm putting my vision out there window. I'm learning to be better window. I'm working on being a better leadership window.
Yep.
When you put it through that, then it becomes, okay, I'm good. But I think, because I've mentioned this so many times in our last few shows, actually probably the last 6 months, that I'm so frustrated with seeing, what's going on in the world. But I even have to do that with the world.
Yeah.
Because it's a process. If you were in the middle of the civil rights movement back in the 60s,
Yep.
and you seeing us being chased by dogs, and you seeing us getting locked up at the lunch counter and being thrown in jail, well, it's just horrible. It's just not right. It's racism at its worst. It's just, but on the other side of that, we enacted laws that gave us the right to vote.
Right.
There's housing laws to where you can't just be kept out just because you're black. Now they still
Right.
try to do that kind of stuff, whatever.
No, you're right.
But you and I are in the city of East Point right now. When East Point used to not look like this, I'm just going to put it out there.
Looking nice, better. Oh, we about to
Exactly.
well, that's a different
But
thing.
I'm saying even culturally, it didn't look like this.
Right.
And so the reason why I say that is because what we went through in the 60s to create a better opportunity for us was part of the process.
The process.
And so
don't be
what we're going
scared.
through right now as a society, it may seem ugly, but maybe it's part of the process of getting rid of the weeds and calling things out that we haven't talked about in years or don't talk about because we don't want to rock the boat. Maybe this is all part of the process.
Let me see. I had a sermon last week, and if y'all like to go to stmarklutheranchurch.org, you can see the sermons. But I had a sermon last week because there's a part of the Bible, a segment of scripture where Jesus says, "I didn't come to bring the peace. I really didn't come here to bring
Jesus
the
can
peace."
bring peace.
Because here's the thing. I didn't come to bring the peace because, see, when you're peaceful, people in Buckhead might be peaceful, but the people in East Point aren't. Civil rights, one side was peaceful, but the other part was catching heck.
Yeah.
Sometimes those transitions are needed.
Yeah.
And I kind of went a different kind of way, but sometimes those struggles are needed, but don't be afraid of that struggle. Don't be afraid of that change. You're going to like this one. You will see a big tree, okay?
I like it already.
Right, you'll see a big tree, and like in golf, let's say this big tree is in front of you. Don't be scared to shoot your ball through the tree because 90% of it is air. But
Wow.
it looks more complicated because the branch is here, but it's really more air that you can go straight through. Then don't overthink it. You know? So even if you're trying to do anything in life right now, really it's not as treacherous, is not as difficult.
Oh, so good.
Just shoot for it. Go through
Just go for it.
Go for
Just
it.
go for it. I love that. I love that. Woo,
So I had to
geez.
bring the tree in
Feels
there.
like something just flew in my ear, but I'm going to go with that, and we're just going to be on camera. So I love that, though.
Donnie, this
We
has been a
make
great show.
monsters. We make monsters out of situations that are really just ghosts.
Yep.
Meaning
Ooh.
it's not even a ghost. It's just air.
It's just
but
air.
we're imagining that it's worse than it actually is. And I hope that even though there's challenging things going on in our society right now, that on the other side of it, we can see the beauty.
Yep.
That
Oh, yeah.
actually we're starting to have some uncomfortable conversations.
Yes,
we're
that's
starting to
needed to
address
be-
some issues
need
that
to
needed
have
to
them.
be addressed. And not only that, let's just keep it 100. There are some people that are getting old, and eventually they will be dead, and new blood will come into play. I don't care if it's right, left, whatever.
Yeah,
They're
been
getting
listening
old.
to Doni Jones live. This is
The timing is perfect.
Yep. That's Doni Jones, a certified arborist. And if you need some tree work done,
Call
her
us at 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE. Once again, I'm Doni the Tree Lady.
and I am that guy, Marty McFly. See you next time.
This is Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. This is Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. This is Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Now when the weather starts to change, the renters start to fall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If it's looking kinda weak and it's looking kinda bleak, who a tree specialist call?
Don's Tree
If
Service.
the trees in your yard are just too tall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wanda Smith, and I'm here with some great information. I don't know if you know, but it's hurricane season, and it's a great time for you to think about having trees removed before one falls on your home. That's something you don't want to happen. Listen, I called Don's Tree Service on a Monday. They were here in just a few days. The price was right, the staff was right, and I'm happy with everything they've done. So hey, if I were you, I would sit down with my family and talk about having trees removed before the hurricane comes and hit your home.
If you want more information about your trees, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE.
Question: have you ever thought about where you're at in the Bible? You know, the Bible is broken down in different parts. You got the Old Testament, the prophets, you got the Gospels, and then you have the letters from Paul. Where are you at in the Bible? You know, are you in the garden where you're still trying to figure life out? Or do you feel like you're in that 400 years of silence, not hearing from God at all? Where are you at in the Bible? I'd love to talk about it with you at St. Mark Lutheran Church. Yep, this Sunday at 11 a.m. We are in person, and I would love to worship with you. And we start at 11 a.m. We're located at 4137 Washington Road in East Point, Georgia. Now, if you're not in the Atlanta area, you can always log on to stmarklutheranchurch.org and be a part of any of our online services. That's stmarklutheranchurch.org.
Hey, this is Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. And as a small business owner, I get asked all the time, how did you do it? Now, for those of you that don't know, I basically started a tree service with $43 and a dream right here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Now, during my journey, I've definitely been blessed to see the mountaintop, but I've also been in some rough valleys. And in my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I share my experience. My book really is a real woman's journey to building a happy, healthy, and successful life. But I gotta be honest with you, I read self-help books and I listened to audio programs about success, and I was still having difficulty achieving success in my life until I really got a hold of certain principles that made a difference. In my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I get very real and raw about what I did to build my company, my family, and my life. So please go check out my book, From Failure to Fabulous, on Amazon, or you can go to my website, www.donijoneslive.com.
When it falls, there's only one tree company to call. That's Don's Tree Service. Call them at 770-413-TREE. That's 770-413-8733.
I looked out the window after the storm and found out that there was a tree that had fallen, so I needed somebody quickly. Made one phone call. The appointment was made. They got the tree down. They do full service cleanup so that it looked like nothing had been done at all. Don's Tree Service did an awesome job for me, and I would recommend them highly.
Hey guys, I'm Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. We are an Atlanta-based tree service serving all of Metro Atlanta. And you know what? We proudly serve the underserved. And not only that, when we cut down your trees, we don't charge extra for cleaning up. So give us a call at 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE.
Doni Jones Live.